Alrighty, Tube Youth, another day, another week, and another update. As you can see, we're not out enjoying the car. We are here with the hood open once again. So, quick recap on things or the issue for those of you who might be just now chiming into my channel. This is a turbo build, Turbo Redeye, compound boosted. The blower is still intact. It's not gutted. It works just fine. We have twin 6466s, 1700cc injectors, triple pump fuel system, which we'll get into in a little bit, and ID 1700cc injectors. So that's all that's been done to the car. Made about a little over 1,000 to the wheel. Right now it is obviously turned down because, you know, we're on the street. I don't need 1,000 freaking wheel horsepower. That was at about 21 pounds of boost, and right now we should be sitting around 17 or 18, according to my last data log when I made a pull of my new settings. So right around 17, 18 pounds of boost is where we're sitting at. Now the issue, for those of you who don't know, is my fuel pump, my fuel pressure. We've been having some fuel pressure issues for quite some time, and we've replaced damn near everything aside from injectors and what are the damn things, spark plugs. So we haven't touched the spark plugs because that shouldn't be an issue. We haven't touched the injectors because obviously those are not the issue. The issue is we're not getting enough fuel pressure up here to begin with. So if you check the regulator is just up under here. I don't feel like, you know, I mean, whatever. Regulator is tucked inside there, and the most I would see is about 20 psi when the car is in its normal positioning. And what I mean by positioning, if you guys come back here for a second, come back here, take this down, you got my controller back here. So you see this red wire right here? That is the power cable for whichever remote I'm on. So there's remote 1, see if I can zoom in a little bit. Remote 1, and then remotes 2 for 2 and 3 pumps. So 2 and 3 come on when there's over 5 pounds of boost to the system, and then pumps 2 and 3 would take over, so we have 3 pumps running at that time. But when you're just cruising, idling, driving along day to day, you're on remote 1, which is just pump 1, and obviously pump 1, 2, and 3 with 330 amp fuses inside this here controller. All right. Now, one more time. This power cable is supposed to be here at remote 1, not remote 2. It kind of looks a little wonky, but I assure you it's on remote 2 and 3 right now. It kind of looks like it's running into 1, but it's supposed to be in remote 1. Right now it's in 2 and 3. I just disregard the camera angle. It's in remote 2 and 3, trust me. And in here, it's obviously my 3 pumps. Here's where all 3 controllers lead to. Got pump 1 right here is blue, and then 2 and 3 over here. I don't know which one is 2. I don't know which one is 3. I just know these are 2 and 3, and this is a remote 1. I've traced it to and from the back of the trunk and the controller multiple times. That is remote 1. So I just went ahead and color coded them so I know which one is 1. So whenever the system is in remote 1 and powered to remote 1, this guy right here will be the only one running. And when this guy's the only one running, we're only seeing 20 psi. Now, we've replaced pump 1 already. The old pump 1 is sitting back there on the counter. Nothing changed. We thought it was a bad pump or weak pump or dying pump. Turns out the pump is good. And as soon as I put this next one in, same thing. So we thought it was the regulator. Regulator works just fine because when I switch it over to controller 2 and 3, fuel pressure works just fine. It goes up to about 55 psi for idle, and then obviously 80-ish psi when we go wide open throttle. So the regulator is just fine, which left us with the controller itself. And right here is the old controller. So here's the old controller. Turns out this works just fine. So now I have an extra pump and an extra controller that worked just fine because nothing was wrong with them, because we replaced the controller thinking it was a bad fuse or a bad controller, and turns out none of them were bad at all. So we're still seeing 20 psi even after replacing all of those things. And the minute, like I said, the minute I come over here to remotes 2 and 3 and switch that power cable over where the car is running 2 pumps full time, pressure goes to normal. We set it about 55, 50-ish psi for idle, and of course driving around everything is normal. There's no bucking, there's no jerking, there's no hesitation, nothing at all when on remote for 2 and 3. So Pump 1, all of that happens. All of the bad stuff happens. It bogs down. I can't drive it, comfortably. It jerks. It hesitates. Does all that stuff because it's not getting the proper fuel pressure on pump 1. However, I know what you're going to say. So it has to be pump 1. Pump 1. No. So here's the lead for pump 1. If I move it over to pump 2, same exact thing. It's going to be 20 PSI. If I move it over to 3, it's still going to be 20 PSI. What the hell is this? Oh, freaking grass. Get that out of here. So no matter which pump I plug this lead into, it's going to see 20 PSI. However, like I said, the second I move it over to remote 2 and 3, pressure's good. Everything's, normal, kosher, great. Let's go out here and make some pulls, right? Wrong. So that's where we're at right now. Hit up Tim, let him know that, hey man, replace the controller, and it didn't work. So his next step was it has to be an internal leak with the hat itself, like the fuel pump itself, the fuel pump module. Because if you guys don't know, I put up what it looks like on the screen. But you have your hat or your pump assembly and the pumps inside them. So I'm gonna go over here and grab the pump. So here's the pump right here. There's a little sock that goes on the bottom. This little part goes into the hat of the fuel assembly. So there's 3 of these guys right here, the 00295s. These are like the biggest ones they have. Yep. And they flow pretty damn good. So there's 3 of these guys in there and they're all plugged into the hat. So what Tim believes is that pump, inside that pump, something is loose causing a blockage. And to me, it doesn't really make sense, because if that was the case, why does it affect all 3 of them? Which it kind of makes sense, but it doesn't make sense, because like I said, if I move it to the other ones, if it's just one pump, no matter which pump, if it's just a single pump, regardless of which pump, it's going to be 20 PSI, and it's not right. If I go to pumps 2 and 3, controller 2, everything's good to go. So regardless of which pump it goes to, it's going to be 20 PSI. So what Tim believes is there's a leak within an internal fuel leak inside the hat itself. For those of you thinking it's a filter, I don't think that's the case, like I said, because 2 and 3 work just fine. If you think it's the injectors, like I said, I don't think that's the case, because 2 and 3 works just fine. So that's how we alleviated those 2 off of the table. The same thing with the regulator. So all of that stuff has been knocked off the table, because if any of those were bad, it would affect all of the pumps. And the fact that we can just simply swap it over to 2 and 3, and all of a sudden drivability and everything like that is so much more better, then that lets me know that none of that stuff is bad. So if any of that stuff was bad, it would affect all 3 pumps. But the fact that it only affects the system when it's on one pump, to me, it sounds like an electrical issue. I believe there's something electrically not sending the correct message it's supposed to get. I don't know where in the system, because of everything that we've replaced. Pump, controller, yeah, that's really it. That's what we replaced. We've checked voltage, all the voltage is right. So I know people are going to ask that too. Hell, you might be able to see my little prick mark. A little prick right there. Yeah, I've checked the voltage on pump 1. Pump 1 is seeing about 13 PSI. And if you look at the controller, all you need is 6.5 volts, and that's how that's when remote 1 activates. So as soon as you turn the car on, remote 1 is activated and it starts running, because it's over 13 PSI. So it's getting the proper voltage. It's just not supplying the fuel, like no matter what. Like I said, I've played mixed and matched all of these things, ring around the roses, hopscotch. I did every combination possible. I've taken this lead right here, because this is the power cable. I've taken this one here and put it on the pumps 2 and 3, and it still only sees 20 PSI. So no matter what, it's not going above 20 PSI until I switch the whole system over to remotes 2 and 3. So yeah, Tim thinks it's an internal leak, and his suggestion was I could take the system out, or take the assembly back out, check it, try to find a leak, or I could ship it to them and let them check it and find it. They were going to throw it into another car, see what it would do. And I was going to do it. I was all amped up and just ready to send it out so we can hurry up and get this thing figured out. But I just don't want the car to be down any longer, man. Like, they're gonna have the pump, they're gonna check it, do whatever, and say the pump assembly is bad. Then I have to wait for another assembly and wait for them to ship it back, and then I have to put it back in here. And if you guys remember my last video where I talked about this, I replaced that assembly, and it was a pain in the ass simply because I didn't have all the correct tools to put the pump back into the tank. So I don't have the big ass screw that you need to, you know, attach the hat to the rest of the assembly. If you guys have done this before, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. And let me just tell you right now, if you don't have that screw, it is a major pain in the ass to get lined up perfectly. So you can drop these tiny ass screws. You might be able to see them. Those little screws right there, those little guys you see right there. Yeah, pain in the ass. They're about like this tall, and you're trying to connect the top of the hat to the bottom of the assembly, and you know, it's a freaking nightmare if you don't have the correct tools, which I don't. So I didn't really want to take it out because I knew it was going to be a pain in the ass to put back in, and I didn't want the car to be down for X amount of time and not have any drivability of it. Can't enjoy it, at least right now, even on its 2-pump setup. I can still drive the car to from work, enjoy it, get into the boost a little bit. Tim has advised no wide open throttles for long periods of time, you know, like 6130 or quarter mile pulls and stuff like that. But you know, every now and then I just get into it just a little bit, light them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, got a little bit of feathering going on here. Hey, she gets it done. So that was the main thing, is I didn't really want to take it back out because, you know, it was such a pain in the ass, and two, I just didn't want to deal with the car being down for any more time. At least now I can drive it to and from, you know, meets and stuff like that if I wanted to and from work, you know, dump some in there just to get my fix in, you know, go hear my boost, get a couple of, you know, videos and pics and stuff like that for content. But if I ship it out, then it's just another headache that I didn't really feel like dealing with. So I already have a plan. There's actually 2 plans. So one plan was keep it on the 2-pump setup for now, and I've let Tim know this. Just keep it on 2 pumps for right now. Sometime next year, when, you know, I actually feel like sending it off again, send the whole car back, send it back again, gut the blower. I know I said I didn't want to gut the blower. Gut the blower, install a 2-step so we can just run, you know, full-time boost without the blower. You can actually enjoy, you know, build boost off the line and stuff like that, and actually be able to put hands on, eyes on with the fuel system and get everything corrected. So enjoy it with the 2 pumps for the time being, you know, not going crazy, not beating on it, you know, out here racing and stuff like that. But just wait until, you know, sometime next year when I get around to it, to actually send the car back off, get the blower gutted, get the 2-step installed, and of course get them to fix the freaking fuel system and, you know, have it running properly. So that was plan number 1, and obviously plan number 2, which you guys are not going to want to hear, which I don't really want to face it, but just throwing it in the towel, being done with it, not caring. And the reason I don't really want to do plan number 2 is simply because I got a couple of buddies who've all been down this road with car problems, you know, blown motors, blown transmissions. My boy D with his GTR, my boy Trig with his freaking Hellcat, White Walker 6.2, you guys may know him. My buddy Kenny with his car, and the list just goes on, man. I see how much shit they've gone through with their cars, and I'm like, bro, I haven't experienced any of that. Am I throwing in the towel a little too early? Like, this seems like such a simple fix. I feel like it's something super simple and we're just overlooking the obvious. It was just something somewhere just not right. Am I throwing in the towel too soon? So that's why I don't really want to go the route number 2, where I just go get a different car. I don't really want to do it, but at the same time, you know, I kind of just want to enjoy a freaking car. I just want to enjoy it, drive it how it's intended. When this car was bone stock, I was at the track every freaking track day. I was getting back to back pull. I had tons of content coming in. I was at all the freaking meets because, you know, I didn't have anything to worry about. But now we have all this crap going on. Or all this crap, but it's literally just a fuel system. It's literally just, that's what I'm saying. It's just a fuel system. But I feel like it's holding me back from making the content, getting the shit that I want to see. But I don't want to feel like I'm throwing in the towel too soon. So I don't know, man. I'm leaning obviously mostly towards option 1, but if all else comes to fail, if the car gives me any more headache, option 2 is still on the table. Like black wings are a thing, ZL1s are a thing, ZL6s are a thing. Those are some damn good looking cars, and I've had my eye on them for quite some time. But hey, at least I can drive the car and enjoy it, right? But we're gonna leave option 2, you know, down the road. Like I said, I don't want to seem like I'm throwing in the towel too soon, like I'm just giving up way too freaking early. Like I said, those guys that I just mentioned have been freaking through it with their builds, and they're still around. They're still got their cars. They're still enjoying them. They're still, you know, out here doing cool stuff with theirs. And would I just be throwing in the towel too soon? So that's where we're at. So if you guys have listened to anything that I've been saying, man, let me know what you think about the system. If you've experienced this yourself, what the problem could be. Like I said, injectors should be good, plugs should be good. It is fuel pressure problem, so we've replaced the pump, we've replaced the controller, the hat, all the hoses, and there's no kinks. Like I said, if it was anything with the lines or the flow of the system, I feel like it would have affected pumps 2 and 3, and it doesn't affect 2 and 3. It's just that when the system is on one pump, we only see 20 PSI, and it doesn't go any higher than that, regardless of how far I adjust the regulator. It does not go above 20 PSI when it's on one pump. So, like I said, please chime down below if you guys have seen anything like that, man. Tim seems to think it is internal leak within the system, but you know, I'm just curious to see what you guys think, man. I know there's tons of guys out there running around on triple pump systems, so just chime down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think that the problem could be, because I'm at a loss for words. I just don't understand how it could be so low on one pump, and then you swap it over to the 2 pump, and everything's good, kosher, and you know, a-okay. So, not to end the video on a terrible bombshell, we got this added. If you guys didn't see it when I was, you know, walking by earlier, it's a cool little catch can from Turbo Tuning. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. You see it's vented on the top, so it can still relieve crankcase pressure, and now I don't get droplets and stuff like that all over my car. You see it's a little shiny right now because the last time I drove it without this up here, little splatters out of that little the little breather that was sitting up here, little splatters and vapor and stuff like that get out and get over the freaking car, and I just was not a fan of that at all. So Turbo has these race style catch cans which are vented, and it still catches the oil in the bottom. If you guys are interested in it, Turbo Tuner right there, man, check it out. Wham bam. Not to end the video on a terrible note, but that's where we're at. So car ain't running, but hey, at least this engine bay is looking pretty spiffy. So that's all I got for you guys, man. It's your first time stopping by. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you guys get a notification these videos go up. So go to the Instagram channel at low376slow, all one word. I'll put it down in the description. Until next time, to you, I'm out. Peace.